guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Happy New Year, because this is like the first video in the year 2025. So today I'm talking strictly about house helps, nannies, maids, however you choose to call them. I have had my own share of experiences with them, and I think at this point I am done. Like, I just hope that my mom will live very long to continue to be there for me, because I am honestly like not looking forward to having them again in my life, right? But let's talk about my experiences with house helps. I've had about 4 of them. In my how many years have I been married? Almost 12 years of married. I've had 4 house helps, and I can tell you for a fact that whether you choose to be nice to them or you choose not to be nice to them, see, what they will do is what they will do. You can never be too nice, you can never be too strict, right? What they will do is what they will do. So the first house help I had lasted only 4 months, and that was because she wanted to further her education. So she basically just came for 4 months to make some money to be able to further her education. And you know, my experience with that girl was okay. She was a young girl, I think maybe 18 thereabout, right? She was okay, nothing crazy, right? They always have their flaws, just like any other human beings, right? Or just like any other human being, right? But she was okay, nothing out of the ordinary. The only thing I noticed when she was leaving was that she had pictures of my son like hidden in a folder, pictures of my son and pictures of my husband. And then towards the end of her stay, I noticed that she was a bit too acquainted with my husband. Like she like, if my husband sends her to do stuff, she would do it as fast as like the speed of light, right? But when I ask her to do things, she would like take her time and all that. So I feel like she had a special whatever, like crush on my husband. But anyways, that was the first one. Now the second one was pretty much do I even remember the second one self? Do I remember the second one? The second one did not stay long as well. I think the second one did not stay long as well. They just replaced this one who left, who stayed for 4 months. They replaced her, the agent replaced her with another girl, and I don't think she stayed long, right? But the next 2 were like kind of the major ones I had that gave me headaches. Okay, so the next one, the third house help I had, was also a young girl. I mean, all the house helps I've had have been young girls. So the next one I had was a young girl, and I think that girl was not cut out to be anybody's house help or anybody's maid or anything. Like, she had her own like expectations. Like, there were things she wanted to do. She wanted to be what they call these people who work in restaurants. She wanted to be a waiter. That was her goal in life, right? Or a waitress rather. So that was her goal in life, right? So I think her parents kind of forced her to be a house help. But I noticed that when she came to stay with me, she was not doing anything. In fact, she told me that the place where she used to stay before, they don't cook, they buy food, and she just baits the children, takes them to school. They don't do any market shopping. So not like I asked her to cook. I just used to ask her to go to the market for me, but she would be like, she doesn't really know market stuff because she was not cooking, or she was not going to the market. They didn't used to cook in the previous place where she worked. So this girl used to behave as if she was my oga because oga means boss, right? She used to behave as if she was my boss, because if you tell her to do things, she wouldn't do them, right? She would take her time, she would not do anything. And then in the area, like when people knew that she was my house help, so when they like tried to talk to her, she would say, no, she's my sister, she's my sister, she's not my house help. She would like be bragging outside about how I'm her sister and blah blah blah, right? She would wear bomb shorts around the house, even outside. People were always asking me that, what is wrong with this your house help? Like, why is she dressing like this and all that? So, and then she also had like this special like love towards my son. That was like what gave me a bit of concern. She had this special like connection to my son. My son was what, maybe 1 or less than 2 at the time, my first son. So she had this special connection to him. She liked him so much. She like, and even on her phone she had various pictures of my son and everything. Even after she left, she used to come to the house to bring gifts for my son. It was like that. So I just did not like it. And I never like left my son alone with her. That's one thing. I made sure that in my son's creche, I paid for extra hours. So he used to close by 6, and so I used to go and pick him, or I would designate somebody to pick him up and all that, right? So that was that girl. So at some point she got tired of the whole job, and she said she wanted to leave, and I was okay with it. I didn't argue with it. I was very fine with it. Then came like the last one was the deal breaker for me, and that was when I said, I'm not doing this thing again. And the last one was also a young girl, right? We put her in school. She was very quiet. When they say somebody is quiet, very, very quiet. She doesn't talk. She's always like, you have to force her to say things. I took care of that girl because I really liked the girl. So and because of the person who introduced her to me, right? The person was a family friend, or is a family friend. So I also wanted, like, I felt like that connection made her kind of special to me, right? So I took good care of her. I gave her so many things. Like, I used to buy clothes for her. I give her clothes, I give her things. I really took care of her. But like, and I thought that was enough. We put her in school and as well and all that. Then suddenly I started hearing things like, oh, she used to bring boys to my house. I was like, are you serious? All these things. Funny enough, I didn't get to know a lot of things until she left. So the deal breaker of why she left was because, like, I used to send her to the market, go and buy stuff for me at the market. I hate going to the market, by the way. Before now I don't have a choice, but I don't really like market runs. That's not, everybody has their specialties, right? I like cooking, I like doing some other things, but market is a no-no for me. I hate it. I've always hated it. And so, like, whenever I have house helps, I send them to the market, say go buy this. I give them a list, I give them money and all that. So the deal breaker for me was that, like, at some point one day I just suddenly decided to go to the market. And I don't know, my spirit just told me, go to the market yourself. I decided to go to the market myself, and I saw all my customers that had not seen, or whatever they call them, my vendors, or how will I call them, people that used to sell stuff to me. I saw them after a very long time. They were all greeting me and everything. But there was this particular one I used to buy a lot of things from. When I started buying stuff from her, she now started asking me, madam, how are you? I said, I'm fine. She was like, did you lose your job? I was like, no. Is everything okay with you? Is your family okay and everything? I was like, yes. And then she goes, I'm asking because you are owing me a lot of money. I was like, owing you a lot of money? How? She was like, you always send your girl to me now, and you always tell her that you will pay later. You always buy stuff on credit. and see you now. You're coming to the market, driving a car, you're good, and I'm asking you all these questions, and you say that things are fine. So why are you owing me? Imagine my shock. I was like, owing you, you know? And that was like what opened like the Pandora's box, because a lot of people started saying that I was owing them, you know, that my girl was not paying them. And she would just come to the market, tell them that my madam said I should collect this, and blah 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 blah. I was like, huh? So I started going around to all the places I knew, and I started asking them. And then there was this woman in front of my house that used to sell like food items, like in front of my house. I had to go and meet that woman, and I was like, ma, am I like, did my girl come here to collect anything? And she also confirmed the same thing. I was shocked. First off, I paid off all those people. Then I asked this girl, and she was telling me she's sorry, blah 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 blah. And then even before this thing happened, there were times she used to try to take my husband's phone to make calls. Like one day I caught her with my husband's phone making a phone call, and I was like, why are you with my husband's phone? And she was like, she saw it there. She just pretended as if she picked up the phone. So when we went through the girl's phone, because we gave her a phone, when we now went through her phone, we noticed that she had a boyfriend who was telling her, like, she was such a a dummy, because she had a boyfriend who was telling her, oh, bring this from the house. So she was even taking my food items to this guy. Bring money today, buy exercise book, buy this, buy that, bring this, bring that, you know. So she was basically taking my money to this guy, and even the money to, like, she was supposed to pay to dispose of bin, like dust bin. She was not disposing of those dust bin, because when she came into my house, I noticed that after some time I started to see a lot of rats in my house. I was like, what is going on? Like, I had no idea that this girl, when you give her, you know, she's supposed to dispose the bin every day. She was not disposing the bin. You know, the sink where like nobody ever goes to, that sink underneath, right? The cupboard underneath that sink, nobody ever goes there because you don't put stuff there. It's just a sink that is under, so you just cover it. That was where this girl was putting the dustbin. Guys, it was the most chaotic and unbelievable thing ever. Like, I kept on putting rats things, putting things to kill the rats, I was like, God, what is going on? What is going on? I never knew that this girl was doing these things. And she was like, if you see this girl, very quiet. When we checked her things, we saw like a lot of money, like mints, that maybe my husband would give her money and say, do this, she would keep it. Even more, it means that maybe I would give her to go to the market. I always have a lot of mints, don't ask me anything about that, but she would be keeping those monies. And guys, it was terrible. I can't even lie to you, it was terrible. Like, from the stealing, from the taking of my food items and my food stuff, to her boyfriend, to, you know, collecting things on credit from people and giving the money to her boyfriend. And then that was when my neighbors started to talk. Fear or no fear neighbors. Like, when I now wanted to send her away, my neighbors started saying, oh, don't send her away now, this. And it turned out that she was even like giving things to my neighbors. And then my neighbors were like, yes, so that they see one boy coming. I was like, why don't you guys, why you know your brother's keeper? Why won't you even tell me that boys were coming to my house or anything and like that? So guys, that was when I said I was done. No, I was done. I was like, no, I'm not doing it again. So that was how I stopped. I sent her away. I stopped having house helps. This was back in 2017 or 2018, right? So since then, like for 8 years or yeah, 8 to 9 years now, I've not had any house help. how do I survive? How do I cope? So luckily for me, though my mom had not retired at that time, but I had to get somebody who comes to my house, a woman. I was introduced to the woman who my godmother just told me that, see, maybe you should just get somebody that will come and go, and the person comes when you're around and goes, and then you can manage your children's school runs during the week. And that was what I decided to do. So the woman comes every Saturday, and she basically cleans, does all the cleaning, deep cleaning, bathroom, toilets, and everything. And then I do my cooking. I go to market myself, guys. I don't have a choice now. I go to market myself during the week, and I cook during the week also, because just because Saturday, Sunday, who's going to be with my kids? So I have to do those things during the week, you know. And later on, my mom now retired. When she retired, all the while I had just one child. So when she retired was when I took in, and I gave birth to my second child. So my mom basically has been helping me, you know. She stays with me during the week, and then weekend she goes to her house. So that's how I have been able to navigate this house help scenario. And I know that it's difficult for a lot of people, a lot of women who probably, maybe they've lost their mother, or they don't have anybody, or maybe their mother stays in a different state or a different country, and they don't have anybody to assist them or help them. I wonder how they are coping. Like I've heard very terrible stories of house helps, what they do and all that. So I can imagine, and I would like people to share their experiences, because you could learn one or two things. I mean, like talking about house helps is not something you talk about just once, like, right? So we're going to do another episode where we are going to share ideas and tips, and you know what to do about this house helps. But basically that has been my experience. Maybe I'll bring my sister to the next episode where we are going to talk about her experiences, because she herself has had various house helps, and she has had terrible experiences with house helps. So guys, on that note, I say thank you for watching my video, and please do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and let's ride with me in 2025, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.